Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke is leaving at the end of the month to take up a post at the International Monetary Fund. This appointment is expected to take effect on October 31st, which means that in exactly 2 weeks, Jamaica will be without arguably its best finance minister in recent years. And who will replace him? The answer to that question is still up in the air, but as of right now, we have 5 top picks. Number 1 on that list is Fayval Williams, currently Minister of Education and Youth. The 66-year-old is the only female in the JLP that has served in the finance ministry. She was a state minister without portfolio in that ministry between 2016 and 2019. While she would make an adequate pick, many do not believe Mrs. Williams is right for the job. Second on the list of candidates is Senator Aubyn Hill. Senator Hill is also a Harvard graduate with an MBA from Harvard Business School. To his credit, he has over 35 years of working experience in the private sector. As an international banker, he has lived in 9 countries and done business in more than 125. Starting in 2002, he also led the management team which completed the successful turnaround of the National Commercial Bank NCB. In 19 months, Aubyn and his team moved NCB's stock price from $5 when he joined to $31. He currently leads the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The only concern here is that him being in the Senate might not make this feasible, as the finance minister must be a sitting MP. But for all we know, there might be some legislative changes in the making. Candidate number 3 is Pearnel Charles Jr. Charles Jr. has served as Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Minister of Housing in the Ministry of Economic Growth, and Minister of Labor and Social Security in recent years. An attorney by profession, he has been a key figure in the JLP machinery in recent months. While he does not have a lot of experience in the financial sector, Charles Jr. is a seasoned politician, having learned the ropes from his father, Pearnel Charles Sr. He also has youth on his side, so in terms of longevity, it would make sense for the JLP to pick him. Speaking of youth, up next is Matthew Samuda. While he is somewhat of a wild card, there must have been a reason for Prime Minister Holness to call a by-election in North East St. and so quickly so he could have the former senator thrust into the parliament. It would make sense if the move would be to have him installed as finance minister. Would it be a good choice though? Not necessarily. Matthew Samuda is a very young politician, and while he does seem to have the right attitude for the job, he doesn't have the experience or the educational background that would support giving him this critical role. Samuda does have a background in marketing and has worked in the fields of entertainment, marketing and project management since his teenage years. But is this enough to make him finance minister? We'll see. And number 5 on the list is our very own Prime Minister Holness. Making himself finance minister would be very on brand for the Prime Minister and would not necessarily be a bad choice. While he is no Nigel, the Prime Minister has quite the resume. The former Education Minister has a Bachelor of Science degree in Management Studies and his Master's in Development Studies. In 2024, Holness completed a Doctor of Law and Policy degree at Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, a type of professional doctorate. So Dr. Holness definitely has the educational prerequisites that would enable him to take on the role. Having been an active politician since 1997, he also has the experience necessary. But the question remains of whether or not this would be a good move alongside his prime ministerial duties. In addition, he is also the minister of the Mammoth Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, which has responsibility for housing, urban renewal, environment, water, land, works, climate change, and economic policy and investment. So what's the plan there? Possibly to hand this off to Matthew Samuda. Regardless of what happens, there is definitely going to be a shaking up of the JLP cabinet come October 31st. But for now, our top picks for Finance Minister are Fayval Williams, Aubyn Hill, Pearnel Charles Jr., Matthew Samuda, and the Prime Minister himself. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for all things Jamaica.